If you listen closely, you can hear the walls breathing. The house is bad, says Jude. So the book we're going to talk about today is, I would say it's kind of a haunted house-ish book. But what if the haunting is all in their heads? Or is it? So the book we're going to talk about today is You Did Nothing Wrong by C.J. Drews. This was a random book that I picked up at the library and was very pleasantly surprised with how deranged and diabolical that this story is. It follows the story of this woman, Elodie. She has a son named Jude. She has just married this man, Bren. They knew each other for all of 2 months and they got married. And it seems like Jude may have some sort of be on the spectrum or maybe possibly autistic, but Elodie refuses to admit anything is wrong, and she doesn't want to have her son diagnosed for whatever reason. So that kind of plays into the story, but he has a lot of emotional issues, and he's always throwing tantrums. She has to make everything a game for him in order to get her son to do stuff and whatnot. And somehow she's managed to hide this from Bren, her new husband. But they've only known each other for like 2 months. And she wants to continue to try to hide this from him because she doesn't want doctors to see her son or have anything happen to him. Because she's just really afraid that he'll be taken away from her, is what I think the main thing is there. They move into this house. And when they do, Bren is renovating it and he's going to fix up the whole place. So there's a lot of stuff under construction and whatnot. One night, Elodie is tucking in her son, Jude, and Jude is 6. At this point in time. And then she's also pregnant with another child, but she hasn't told her son this yet because she's not sure he's going to handle it very well because he's always exploding with anger and tantrums and freaking out about stuff. So she's not sure how it's going to be received. Jude says to her one night that can't you hear it? And the walls are breathing. And she's like, yeah, no, that's just, old houses because it's an old Victorian house. They settle, they make weird noises and this, that, and the other. And Elodie has heard some weird noises when no one else has been around. She's heard possible footsteps when no one's been home. And maybe she has heard a thing or two in the walls. Maybe even seen some stuff. Who's to say? And then Jude continues on with this with the house doesn't like it when you tear it apart, or because, Bren is working on the house continuously to redo it and pulling out parts of the wall to redo stuff and this, that, and the other. And then Jude also says that the house doesn't like Bren or his mom and that the house wants to eat him and put its teeth in the wallpaper. So we have that going on. So is this just this part delusional, or is this the thing? Is the house maybe some weird sort of sentient thing? Elodie eventually maybe starts to believe some of this stuff. She doesn't really know how to broach it with Bren. Bren loves the house. And also Elodie is so focused on I have to be perfect. This is the perfect life. I couldn't be happier. This, that, and the other. So she feels like she has to be perfect. Her son, she has to hide his imperfections from her husband, which it's stupid to even try to do that. It's dude, you guys all live in the same house. How do you think he's not gonna see this? And then once Bren and her son actually start to have a relationship, she starts to get jealous. You start to see that maybe she might have some mental unbalance as well. There's a point when she's at home and she sees what looks like the walls are bleeding. And she's like, what in the F? And she touches it and it's red, rusty, weird. And she's like, oh my God, am I actually seeing this? Is this a thing? And then she shows Bren. She's like, I have to frickin' tell him and show him. And then he comes and he sees it and she's like, are you actually seeing this? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm sure it's fine. Old houses, this, that, and the other. He's making up stuff about what it could possibly be. And she's like, but you see it. And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine. We'll take care of it. He just ends up wallpapering over it. And then that's it. He's like, let me take care of it. Don't worry about it. This, that, and the other. Does he know something? What's going on here? And then his sister, Elodie goes and meets up with his sister one day to have lunch and whatnot. And she has all these cryptic warnings. And she says something about her brother about how you guys need to be on the same page about how you raise your children. Otherwise, Bren will try to fix things because he's a fixer, because he had all this trauma that happened when he was a kid. His parents had died in a really tragic way and he was there when it happened. So that really effed him up and he wants to fix things, but he doesn't always go about fixing them the right way. But the sister doesn't really elaborate. So what does that mean? Does that mean he's going to hit her kid or whatever? She doesn't know. And then she doesn't really broach the subject with him, which she should have, and been like, hey, we're gonna have a baby soon. Like, and then when she finally does tell her son about the baby, the kid like flips out and like punches her in the stomach. It's a hot mess. Man, it's a wild ride of a book. So you're like torn between, is this house really haunted or alive, or what is going on here? Does it eat people? Did it eat children? What's the history behind this? Why is Bren ignoring all the issues and just wallpapering over stuff? Because like he did that. And then one day, Elodie is like, did he really fix it? And she goes and she like rips the wallpaper off and she's like, oh, nope, it's still there. He just wallpapered right over it. And so those two have a lot of issues to work out. And then he ends up taking, I think Bren takes Jude, her son, to the doctor at one point, and she gets really mad about that because she's worried that they'll take her son from her if he's autistic or has some sort of issue. And Bren's like, we're married. I don't understand why you think this is going to happen. It has nothing to do with you. If he has like stuff, we should get him help, Like, why don't you want that? They're not going to take him from you, What is the problem here? And she's just all inside her own head and has these crazy neuroses. But then you start to see that Bren might have issues too because of all his denial of what's going on in the house that he's just papering over. He just seems to want to paper over everything and pretend that nothing is wrong. That's going to cause some rifts and chaos in their relationship, Stuff hits a crazy escalation. Madness ensues. Man, this book's effed up. It's a great haunted house, human condition, dark, tragic, weird story. And I'm still not sure how I feel about the ending. I'm not going to tell you what happens. Was it good? Was it bad? Neither. It was effed up. And then you're like, okay, am I okay with this? Probably not. No, the ending was not... The ending was, I don't know, it's the messiest of messy endings. And then what happens afterward, you're just like, okay. I liked the journey and I liked the weirdness and the effed upness. It was a nice surprise of a book that I wasn't expecting to be so deranged. Like sometimes I just like a really deranged story that has to do with like maybe a haunted house or the human condition. So if any of that sounds interesting, definitely check it out. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.